Managing the waiting room. Do you want me to let him in?
No, I've got them.
Okay.
I think I'm caught up, Miss Vogel. So whenever you get ready, I'll just keep a watch on the waiting room.
Okay. Hello, everybody. We would like to welcome you guys to the 2020 Target Virtual Learning. We are so excited that you are here with us today.
Ooh.
I'm Mrs. Fogel, and I will be working with Miss Boutwell, Miss Ferguson, and part of Miss Timmy's class this year.
I'm Miss Danner, and I will be working with Miss Berdicus's class and also Galt Mullins' class.
I'm Mary Beth Smith, and I will be working with Mrs. Gorman's class and Mrs. Nagel's class this year.
I'm Kim Osborne. I'll be working with Mrs. Hoplinger's class and part of Miss Tenney's class. We're excited that you're all here. We're looking forward to next week.
Mm-hmm.
And as we go through this presentation, if there's any questions that you have, just put them in the chat and we will answer them throughout the presentation and then at the end again. So we want to first talk about online expectations. Make sure that your students are prepared, that they're on time, and they have their materials. Make sure they are good listeners, and we'll talk about being respectful. Also about the chat room, we will talk about the kids as next week. Be a learner, participate, and always, as we know, is to try and do your best. Be engaged, and also be very patient with us as we are being patient with you. We actually have 145 years of teaching experience between the four of us, and we are ready to take on this new challenge.
Still a little nervous about virtual, but we'll figure it out.
A lot nervous.
So when you're setting up your virtual classroom, which I'm sure most of y'all have done that, make sure you have a quiet workspace, a nice chair, make sure the kids are very familiar with their device, have all their materials within reach. They enter the sessions on mute. They raise your hand, and we'll be talking more about certain little things that they can do. And make sure they come dressed in school appropriate attire, ready for the day.
This slide really was made for in-class use, but we decided that it would just be a good reminder to make sure your student is really comfortable with their device. We actually feel really lucky because we know that this week they're doing that, and so we feel like next week they'll be in pretty good shape when they come to us. But they should be able to log in and use the browser, learn how to do bookmarks. A copy and paste would be a great skill for them to learn, whether that is with a mouse or with a touchpad. Definitely volume, they want to know how to use volume. And if they're using headphones, some kids are, just make sure they're comfortable with this.
On your target day, your child will log in normally to CTLS, but instead of joining their regular classroom session, they will be looking for the target session to join on Thursdays, and that will start at the regular time. What does a target day look like? As I said before, we have a schedule very similar in the time schedule to your regular classroom schedule, except we do have the target curriculum that we are covering as our subjects. So we have affective instruction, convergent and algebraic math, and then the unit and collaborative studies. Also at the end of the day, we have that asynchronous time where your child will be working independently off of the computer. Here is a more detailed schedule. As you can see, we start target at the same time. We ask that the kids log in at 7:50 to be ready to go in and start right at 8 o'clock. We will work up until 12 o'clock, and they will also have their specials class in that schedule. one important thing to remember is that since their target day on Thursday replaces that day in the regular classroom, they are not responsible for the assignments in their regular classroom.
Just one second, I gotta let people in. So it is very important that your child attends our virtual target classes. It is a Cobb County district rule that target or gifted students attend a minimum of 65% of the target days that we have set aside for target classes. Doesn't sound like a lot, but considering we probably have them 14 weeks, it can add up. After next week, we will be giving grades for target. Let me let someone in. And we have target report cards, or progress reports, excuse me. We give those out twice a year. So our first progress report will come out in January of next year. And then our second one, which is our last one, will come out in May. You can view what our progress reports look like if you want to at the website below, and I will put this in the chat for everyone. We asked that you looked at, we kind of called it a flipped open house, some information, but if you go to this website, a lot of the information, schedules, and supplies that I'm going to talk about in just a minute are on there. So speaking of supplies, the PTA did put out an e-blast. If you're new to Mount Bethel, you might not have gotten that. But as I said, I will put the website in where you can go and view the supply list for third grade target. We do want them to have a target folder or / binder. I believe the supply list for third grade said a binder, and there are pockets in the binder. If you don't have a folder, either one of those will be fine for them to keep their completed work and their ongoing projects in, and we'll help them decide which side is for each of those, and to make sure they bring it to class, have it ready in their workspace, each week, ready to go for class, and all their supplies. And I want to mention that in addition to all the scissors, pencils, colored pencils, crayons, they need either copy paper or loose leaf notebook paper for some activities that we'll be doing. In addition to our regular supplies, we are going to be doing a novel study, and we're very excited about our book, Frankie Sparks and the Class Pet, and it's just book number 1. You can find it on Amazon. There is a book set, but we will just be using book number 1, and then your child probably will fall in love with it, and that's up to you if you want to get the other books in the set for them to read on their own. But if you will go ahead and purchase that for our classes, we would appreciate it. And I'll put both of those in the chat. Thank you.
So at this point, we want to thank you so much for joining us. And are there any other questions? Ms. Smith, do we have any questions?
I don't see any questions in the chat.
All right, thank you so much. And we look
That was
forward to
pretty
seeing
quick.
your children.
Oh, what,
Question?
we have another question about the target schedule. Can you go back to that slide, Mrs.
I will go
Osborne?
back.
And Mary Beth, tell them what our units are. And
Oh, we're looking at the schedule right there. Our units that we'll be working on this semester, we're really excited. It's called the Inventure Unit, which is your child will, in essence, become an inventor. And then we are also combining that with the study of George Washington Carver, who is, in addition to being a great scientist, was a great inventor. We have a question about sharing this slideshow with them.
I just, We had not planned on it, but we can relook at that.
Okay, we will,
The Miss Hammond, the schedule is on the Wix, if you'll go back up, that Wix site that I shared where our website is, we have all the schedules, on there. Right now, the way our CTLS is set up, we can't individually or by class email. We just have to.
Someone asked the question, why is Target not on Wednesday? We have classes going on in Target all week long. And so it's impossible for all the Target classes to be on Wednesday, unfortunately, because there are many classes at Target, not just our one day.
Well, if I may add into that, also, the schedule set up by the district for us to go by leaves the Wednesday open for small group work and individual students getting help, and also for teacher planning and going into those groups.
we also have a question about our backup plan in case CTLS goes down. And we're still sort of formulating that, but we would like to set up a place where we have a Zoom link and that we would go, weren't we talking about possibly putting
Backup
that
plan.
yeah, in the announcements part? But if they can't log on in all, they would need that link in another place, right?
But if we put it in there, if everybody would take a screenshot of that or something, so you'll have the ID number and a password, then you would be able to use that. So when we put that up, it's something you want to keep. Someone asked about where they got information about 5th grade. There's actually a 5th grade Zoom meeting happening right now. So you might have gone into the wrong meeting. You may want to go
Now,
out.
Miss, that's for the Cavallis. They have split
There's one in each.
in 3rd and one in 5th. They should be recording like we are. So
Right.
maybe if you click on that link, it'll give you the recording later on, like I sent it to you. Miss,
I'm sorry.
We also have a question about which target class their child is in. And so you can go ahead and answer that.
well, the homeroom teacher should have on her open house, that was included in the open house. So Miss Zahn, if you will email me at, we can't pull it up when we're in the Zoom, but if you'll email me at
But they should know by the teachers that we said which teachers we have. So,
Oh, that's true.
right? So I have Gorman and Nagel.
Good job, Miss Smith.
I have Hofflinger and part of Tenney.
And I have Boutwell, Ferguson, and part of Tenney.
And I have Verdicus and Gold Mullins.
Okay, there's also a question, do they need to do anything with Edmodo? No.
No, we've been charged to do everything through CTLS so that that will be our main platform. So we won't be using Edmodo.
Ms. Smith, I saw a question about is if they have someone from a different school, are we on the same target units?
A different school?
Like from East Side, because there are some different pods.
Mm-mm.
So
No.
not necessarily. When we are at the target program, we are given a list of certain units that we can do. So we could be doing the same unit as East Side, but not necessarily.
Mm-mm.
And we're also doing a unique,
Take on it.
unique thing in the sense that we felt like the George Washington Carver unit and the Inventor unit worked well together because of the inventions in the Inventor. So it's highly unlikely people will be doing a mix of that.
But here, Miss Robb said they have different, I don't know if that's for here, for the 4 of us are planning together. So our lessons maybe tweaked a little bit different, but we'll be doing a lot the same.
Right.
There was a question from Miss Nicholson about live sessions. Will they have to go in? They will have to go out of the live session target, back to their homeroom to go into specials, out of specials, and then come back to target. So that is the way they're doing it.
And we've also gotten a request for people that were just coming into the meeting to have access to the slideshow.
It's recorded, so we'll work on getting that out. We're
We'll
not
see.
Seesaw. And would you be using any other websites not used by? Probably so. We probably would use websites other than what the homeroom teachers are doing.
And we had the question about Seesaw. Will Seesaw be used?
Yeah, I said no.
Most likely no at this time.
Not at this time.
Mr. Prakash, the expectation around group assignments, in the upper grades, they're working on doing, because their adventure is more group, we're basically doing more individual assignments. We may change that later on, but at first we're just, correct me if I'm wrong, girls, but right now we're just doing more individual and not group.
Right.
Setting the kids up to collaborate in individual groups would take us out of the group. So that's a little bit tricky.
Does anybody
Yes.
else see anything?
Any other questions?
We got one. We got a. Mr. Prakash, I don't think I understand. Provide any info on target. If your child is in target, they don't have to go through eligibility testing again, if that's what you're asking. Existing target students are gifted for their elementary, middle school, and high school. You can't become uneligible. If it's for new students, the testing timeline is going to be developed by the county after we go face-to-face. So there's nothing right now even in the works. Maybe I've covered both sides of it.
Someone said kids both at Mount Bethel but have different teachers. Did we talk about that?
I did. I said the
Yes.
four of us
Okay.
are pretty much.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was reading it.
the
I mean,
third
it may be slightly different, but we're really trying to stick to the same
Basic.
assignments.
Right, the assignments will basically be the same.
Yes.
The people that asked about the slideshow, I also can go back to the beginning when we finish, and
Oh,
I will be glad to go back to the beginning and show the first few slides again, just so that you can see that information.
absolutely.
Smith, any other further questions we need to address?
I don't see any
I
new
don't-
questions
yeah.
on the chat. I went back up through it.
Here's just one. Are assignments going to be posted on CTLS?
Yes.
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 Yes, we're gonna,
Everything will go,
sorry, go ahead, Miss.
everything will go through TCLS.
And I plan on putting my assignment in the announcement section so that it's just right there for them to see what they have to work on.
And they're talking about, buddy.
Our plan is kind of at the end of the day to go over the assignments that we discussed through the lessons during the day, remind them what they will be doing, and that'll be a slide that we'll then post on our announcements. So hopefully
Yeah.
that'll make that pretty easy.
And then they'll have the week to do it, and then we'll share it the following week. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for coming.
Thank you.
Those that want to stay on to go back through the slides,
Yes, I'll go back to the
Okay.
beginning and we'll,
See you next week.
See you guys on Thursday.
Have a great week. We're excited.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
I'll just give you a little bit of time